lovelies, hello, hi, welcome to this channel. I am Esther, aka Esther the Jester. I'm so glad that you're here. I'm out of breath. I didn't need to do all that, but here we are. So today I wanted to talk about something that I feel like encompasses my whole being. Life as an awkward black girl. Being an awkward black girl could be classified as being an alternative black girl, someone that doesn't fit into the mainstream. A black girl that has many interests that don't align with what is mainstream and what is conventional for a black woman, black girl to have, according to people's perception of what blackness is. Let me just take this chewing gum out. I'm so sorry. I forgot I had chewing gum in. I eat chewing gum like 10 times a day. I too classify myself as an awkward black girl. When people look at me, they're like, oh, you're not like other black people I've seen. You don't fit into what I think a black person is. And I think that's beautiful. But yes, that would also mean I'm an awkward, weird black girl. And that's quite okay, you know, like I'm so great over here. If I just search on Google, what is an awkward black girl? The first thing that comes up is Issa Rae's comedy show from 2011 called Awkward Black Girl. Makes sense, right? Lots of different articles and opinions about what an awkward black girl is. And then there's this one article called 9 Signs You Might Just Be an Awkward Black Girl from Bustle. Let's just take a look at this article. I'm awkward. There's really no getting around that ultimate truth of my life. I am definitely undeniably awkward. I can't hold a conversation with more than 2 people at once, and mingling is a special level of personal hell for me. Yes, I'm awkward and I'm also black. I'm one of the many young women who, thanks to Issa Rae's viral YouTube show The Misadventures of an Awkward Black Girl, learned it's totally possible for blackness and awkwardness to intersect. She has a whole list. Let's just go through it and let's just see if we can relate here. Then we're going to get into my own list. First point, stop signs cause you anxiety. That does not cause me anxiety. First of all, I don't drive. That's not a universal experience. 2, you can't dance. For whatever reason, people just take one look at you and assume you have rhythm. I do dance and I love to dance and I like to dance and I can dance. I can confidently say that I can you would definitely see me doing some steps at the function. That's not what being awkward and being a black girl is about. Yes, there's a lot of assumptions because you're black and, you know, the rhythm and yada yada. Long hallways make you uncomfortable. Now this one, long hallways on their own are fine, but when you have to walk past someone, no, game over, you wave, you smile and nod. Honestly, I just avoid eye contact. I just pretend they're not there. Or if it's someone I know, I just pretend I haven't seen them. Normally that works really well for me. Like, I'm so good at seeing someone before they even see me that I can think of what I'm gonna do when I get closer to them. And I'll see them and then I'll be like, okay, I can't wave now. We're too far away from each other. So I just look around, pretend I haven't seen them. As soon as they're like close, I pretend that my eyes have fallen on them and I'm like, oh, hi. And then I don't even... No longer than 3 seconds. That sounds actually so messed up. Your comebacks are never fast enough. I do not agree with this because I think I'm genuinely just a funny person. Yes, you can be awkward, but I feel like a lot of people that are awkward also tend to have a little bit of humor. People see that and they think that they're witty. You never know how to react to people touching your hair. It's giving me war flashbacks. Yeah, that is real. I don't know how to react because I don't want to be rude, but genuinely this is growing out my scalp. Why are you touching my scalp? I don't know you. And I used to work at this ice cream shop. I was serving the ice cream, obviously. I would be bending over to scoop the ice cream. They just get their claws in there. I'm like, what? But most of the time it's children or just uncivilized adults. I'll give you your ice cream, is that not enough? Whew, that one is real. You gravitate towards other awkward individuals. Yes, I do. Interesting people. People who have more going for them than what can be perceived. For some people, you just know kind of who they are. It's just like a flat surface. Whatever they show you is whatever they are. But then there's some people that are just a little bit other stuff surrounding them. You wrap your emotions. When you're upset, you rap. When you're happy, you rap. When you're angry, you rap. Okay, girl, no. You hate being held responsible for initiating conversation. Let me read that again. You hate being held responsible for initiating conversation. I feel like I'm being held hostage every time I have to have a conversation. I feel like I'm good at asking people questions because genuinely I'm just interested in everyone and everything and everyone. I just love knowing about people. So yes, I can hold a conversation, but I don't want to be held responsible. That is also why I'm asking the other party so many questions because I don't want to be, oof, that's really real. Damn. Parties are the worst. Yeah, so yeah, I genuinely hate going out. The more I realize it, the more I'm like, that's sad. Because I genuinely hate going out to dance even. I don't even want to be in a place where people expect me to do something or be someone. Just let me be me. Like, this is me. This is real. I'm in. I don't know how that song goes. I've written some very interesting things that I feel like can be universal. It can also be more of a personal experience. Not every single awkward, weird black girl in this world is the same. But saying that, there are some common experiences and thoughts that I think kind of intersect. I also want to give a disclaimer and say that I'm not trying to pity myself here. I think being an awkward black girl, weird black girl is absolutely wonderful. I love being black, I love being a girl, I love being everything that I am. And it took a while for me to get there. Like, I wasn't always in love with who I am. I also want to relate to other people that are like me and that share the same kind of thoughts around this concept of being an awkward black girl. Ultimately, to create a space. When I say weird black girl, awkward black girl, I mean it in a positive way. Like, black people tend to flip terms that have a negative connotation. They flip it and make it positive. The same thing has been done to an awkward black girl. Just like a whole umbrella term. It does mean non-conforming. It does mean non-mainstream. I just wanted to preface it by saying that. Being an awkward black girl, that means you've probably been called whitewashed. You have, don't deny it. There's some form, maybe not the word whitewashed, but, and I've also gotten the thing where people thought I was African American when I so clearly am not. It was just the era where being black meant being African American. Like, it was like 2016 vibes. In that era, I was called whitewashed because I didn't fit that standard. But I was just like, but at the end of the day, what is being whitewashed? What does that entail? Again, Issa Rae, my queen. She is the queen of awkward, weird black girls. She should be at the forefront when we go and we conquer lands. She is our queen, and I stand by that. Like, Insecure, The Misadventures of Awkward Black Girl, everything she does, just, yeah. I think music is super, super important. When talking about awkward black girls, you obviously don't conform when it comes to music. Like me, I genuinely have tried so hard to like it, but I don't like rap. I'm saying it on my chest now, guys. I used to be ashamed. I'm so serious, I don't like rap. I don't mean hip hop. I love Kendrick Lamar, J. Cole. I'm really trying to force myself because, you know, whitewashed. Every time someone puts it on, I'm just like, that also means that genres of music, very non-conforming, like rock, very awkward black girl. If we talk about music, awkward black girl, I feel like Pink Panther is awkward black girl. You know, Rachel Chinariri, awkward black girl. Old SZA, awkward black girl. I feel like SZA is in the middle of the Venn diagrams. I feel like I should make a Venn diagram. I haven't made one. Maybe I will. Another experience I feel like can be universal is being overseen in social settings, just being overlooked. I feel like it's very common to hide ourselves away in the dynamic of a social setting. I feel like it's very easy for us to just diminish our aura, and I'm so sorry, I don't want to use the word aura, but we're losing some aura points here. Maybe it has something to do with being a bit insecure, not so much being awkward, but I feel like when you are awkward, it's because you're insecure about something. But that's a whole different topic. You just become the observer in a social situation because there's not a lot of interaction going on. Well, there is, but just not to the extent that many others are feeling it. The dynamic is kind of like, just like, you spend a lot of time with your family, don't you? Yes, you, because I do. And it's like, damn, I definitely could be spending less time. Like, I love my family. It's not even about that. But I could definitely be spending less time with them. Definitely. Of course I can. But I just end up spending a lot of time with them because that's the only place where I'm actually just like comfortable. I don't have to think about anything or everything and yada, yada, yada. And also bonus, I have a lot of siblings, so genuinely I'm going to be spending a lot of time with my family. If I only had one sibling, maybe not, but I have 6. So it's genuinely like something that I've noticed I do, and I feel like a lot of awkward black girls or weird black girls, alternative black girls, they end up spending a lot of time with their family, especially if their family accepts them. You know, that's blood. There's a time in your life, come a little bit closer. There's a time in your life where you were super outgoing, extroverted, and then something changed. Maybe it was around your puberty, but something changed and you just became a bit more reserved, a bit more self-conscious, a bit more awkward. I was a super loud child. I was a super outgoing child. Like, genuinely, Every time my parents want to start reminiscing about the good old days, they just always come to me and they're like,
you were super loud and annoying as a child.
genuinely, what was I on? I was on life. I was on that wave of life and I had no conception of danger. And I love that for me. Now, I definitely think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times before I do something. And I remember when I was like 15, 16, I was super reserved in my own shell. And my parents, they would just be like, oh, what happened to you? They would say it in that kind of way, where it's just like, oh, you used to be so loud. I was bold, I was brave, I was crazy. Now I'm less loud, less bold, less crazy. When it comes to being an awkward black girl, interests are so like big. Like if you don't have mainstream interests, then you're awkward black girl or you're weird black girl. And I think that's so silly, but you may be right because I just stay at home all day and I just cultivate these interests. The big 3 of an awkward black girl, yeah? Anime, K-pop, Five Nights at Freddy. It's interchangeable. But if you're an awkward black girl, you're a weird black girl, you're an alternative black girl, you're gonna like 2 out of the 3. I don't make the rules. And for me, it's anime and K-pop. That was my jam back in, honestly, even now. I ain't even gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie to you, honestly now. There's so much to learn. There's so much to be a part of. The community is massive. I made a friend in year 8 and she was one that introduced me to K-pop. She was just starting out her K-pop phase. In school during the break, bam, we would put on the K-pop on the big screen. We just start dancing. Bam, and all our classmates were like, "Hey, you're weird." Like, We did not care about the hyper fixations that awkward black girls can come to engulf themselves in. Is that even grammatically correct? I don't know. Feel free to supply with some more in the comments if you would like to. It's the fixation part that we're interested in, not just the interested part, because yeah, you can be interested, but the fixation, you really crafted yourself in this. It was your whole personality. And whenever I meet black girls specifically who also like these interests, I'm like, I know you, kind of have an idea of who you are, and I know that's a good idea. Let's talk about the glow up. I feel like we were all a bit too expressive in our childhood, and then suddenly we took that expression, we molded it into our self-development. I also think it has something to do with COVID. Like, it was a time to be alive. I just had so much time to explore, and I wasn't afraid to explore. So the glow up is really important for an awkward black girl. If you haven't had your glow up yet, don't worry. You're gonna get it. I feel like my glow up hasn't even finished yet, but I'm at a point where, wow, I've changed since the last time. That's so beautiful, like, so beautiful. One thing about awkward black girl is they're gonna be awkward. They're gonna be weird. Sometimes they don't really want people to see that side of them from the get-go. So do you know what they do? That can cause the misconception that we are intimidating or unapproachable. And I feel like that's just generally to black women, because people just have so many things to say about black women. There's just a side of us that we don't always want people to know from the jump. We don't know these people either, but it can come off as intimidating.
You look so mean when I first met you.
Like, you definitely heard that. Just kind of a bit shy, a bit cautious. And that's okay. I should not have to be called mean or unapproachable or intimidating. Why is it cute when other people do it, but when we do it, we're just intimidating? That had a negative impact on me, because I was like, wow, like, no matter what I do, I just come off as unapproachable. I was smiling at this person, but they still thought I was unapproachable. Then I found out that it's really not about me. It's genuinely about them, and it's about their fear of approaching me, and that's something they need to work out. So, filling in the token black friend role, the funny friend role. A very universal experience for awkward black girls, because if you're awkward, you're gonna be a bit funny, you're gonna be a bit witty. And then you kind of just fill in that role of being like because you are a bit weird, you are a bit funny, you are a bit quirky. Nothing wrong with that, but it just ends up being a bit of a weird role that you're always set in social situations. Without me even realizing it, I had just become the butt of the joke. Anytime I said something, you're so funny. And it's like, whoa, I wasn't even trying to be funny there. I take that as a compliment sometimes, because I'm like, wow, I'm just naturally funny. But then I'm like, is it because you're not listening to me? Is it because you genuinely just have this idea that I'm just gonna be funny no matter what I say, because I'm just a silly, quirky little girl? And I think it's the latter, because what? I don't know, I just think it's really weird. sometimes it just sends a bit of shivers down my spine. People are just laughing at every single thing I say, even when I'm trying to be serious. It's like, you know, maybe before you start bursting out in laughter, let's just open up your ears, open those ear flaps, okay? The token black friend, but like a lot of awkward black girls have grown up in a predominantly white space, and that's caused them to kind of be like, oh, where do I fit in? Your childhood and your upbringing, your environment shapes you so much. So I think growing up in a predominantly white area shaped you so much. So that's really important to recognize and to move on from. Another thing I want to talk about is love. I love. It's a hard topic for an awkward black girl. It's something that has to do with your environment, obviously, your upbringing, obviously, what you were taught from childhood, but it's just all about the mindset. And I feel like the mindset is hard to acquire when all those factors also play into it. It means that you have a lot of crushes. I'm saying you, but I'm kind of talking to me as well. I had a lot of crushes growing up. I had so many. What was wrong with me? Because you don't need that many crushes. I was really in love with the idea of having a crush, but then when it came to actually being in a relationship with them, I was like, oh heck nah. So it was like, what was my goal with the crush then? Don't know, can't tell you, but that's just how it was. Genuinely, having a relationship was just such a foreign concept for a very long time. As an awkward black girl, you can be slow to get into relationships, if not getting into them at all. There's just a long period between your relationships, and even if you do get a relationship, it can either last really, then you just start missing your independence, or you really put a lot of energy into this person, and then when it ends, or if it ends, I don't know where you are in life, but when it ends, then you're just like, oh, okay, I'm never gonna love again. And that is really crazy to me. How many people have this experience? I feel like not many. It's a vulnerable space to be in because it makes you think that you're behind. You're not as well caught up as your peers, but I'm here to tell you that you are. That is so important to remember. No matter what you're going through, it's like you're never late. You're never late. You're never late. You're on time always, because it's uniquely you. It's uniquely for you to experience. Bars. People want to be you, but they still make fun of you in some way or another. That's really confusing for a developing mind. How is it you want to be me? You want to dress like me, you want to talk like me, you want hair like me, but then you're still gonna be like, oh, why do you have that kind of hair? Oh, why do you talk like that? How do you, what, like, how are you not? Why is your hair out? Why do you have lighter skin in the winter? Like, genuinely, these questions were asked where I'm just like, why are you so interested in my business? Why don't you just leave me alone? I don't need you to. It just ties into the fact that they just want to classify you. They want to know what kind of person you are. And sometimes you don't have an answer for that. And that's when they're like, okay, so that means they must be other. What do you mean now? Why am I other? Why am I just the awkward, weird black girl? Why am I just not me? And I want to talk about this podcast episode that I was listening to. The podcast is called Hush, I'm Talking Babe. Super great podcast. I really think you guys should support that podcast because it's really good. One of the episodes, are you an awkward black girl or are you just you? She kind of just talks about what it is to be an awkward black girl and how that kind of encompasses just being an other. What does it actually mean to be an awkward black girl, and why is that even a thing? Why can't you just be you? Like, of course I'm black, yes, and I may be a bit awkward and I may have some weird interests, but that doesn't mean that I'm this whole term. It's just important to be the best version of yourself. She kind of talks about that, and also in the UK it's really prevalent to either be a mainstream black girl or an other black girl, and I think that is But yeah, I just want to conclude this by saying, if you can relate to what I've said in this video, my list, and also the article from Bustle, if you can relate to some of these things, there's nothing wrong with you. It's actually the opposite. There's everything good with us. Like, we genuinely have a sense of self that is not predicted. And I think that is a superpower. It's a talent. It's so cool to be able to have all these interests and different thoughts and different beautiful blessings, and that's why I love being an awkward black girl. I love being a weird black girl. I wouldn't trade it for the world. You're not commercial. You're not supposed to be digested. You know, it takes a little bit more to digest you, to perceive. Hold on to that for the rest of your life. People should not be carbon copies of each other. What is there to be if we are copies of each other? So keep creating that space for other people. You do it first, other people follow, you know. Thank you so much for watching. I'm so glad that you made it to the end. Comment down below what your favorite fixation is right now. It could be anything, it could be My Little Pony. Like, and I'll see you in the next one. Debí tirar más fotos de